If you're looking to create, grow, and sustain your wealth, download and subscribe to the Pain Points of Wealth podcast at BeBullish.com with Bob, Ryan, and Chris Payne. It's your podcast for market insights, money tips, and real talk on the economy. Download and subscribe at BeBullish.com. It's the 77 WABC News Hour. Talking the news with Noam Laden. All the news you need to know with Joe Nolan, traffic, Justin Ellick, sports. And now, Talking the News with Noam on 77 WABC.
Yes, that's me. Good morning. It is Wednesday, February 25th. Your forecast from the 77 WABC Weather Center. Light snow this morning. Sunshine this afternoon. When I say light snow, maybe we'll get an inch. If you're in the northern suburbs, maybe you'll get 2 inches of snow. The high 43. And then tonight and overnight, partly cloudy, low 35. Thursday, sunshine, high 45. If you are walking out the door with us right now, 27 cloudy in central Islip out on Long Island. It's 21 and cloudy in Cranford over in New Jersey. And it's 23 and cloudy right outside our Midtown studios.
This is the Top 5 at 5.
President Trump breaks a record with his State of the Union. The dig out from the big blizzard continues. A surprise in the snow on Long Island. Mayor Mamdani says the cop snowball attack was no big deal. And why did the Guthrie family wait so long to offer a reward? All right, let's get into it at 5:01. Did you stay up last night to watch the president's address to the nation? 1 hour for Sid wants you to know that he did.
I'm in a great mood today. I'm all pumped up. It was fantastic.
1 hour and 47 minutes. That's with no sleep, Sid, so it'll only be entertaining coming up at 6 o'clock this morning. 1 hour, 47 minutes, breaking his own record by 7 minutes. He began the speech. It was 9:12 last night. It did not end until 10:59. It's the second year in a row that he surpassed the record for the longest presidential address to Congress. So, President gave, so they're trying to cover this thing during a news hour with not spending the entire hour on the speech. If you didn't watch, because I know a lot of people were up at 5 in the morning, chances are you fell asleep maybe even during this or before it. But the president gave the State of the Union proclaiming that he has ushered in the golden age of America. He spent a lot of time taunting Democrats in the chamber last night, blaming them for the country's problems. The president says jobs, investments, trillions of dollars, he says, are pouring into the U.S. now.
But in 12 months, my administration has driven core inflation down to the lowest level in more than 5 years. And in the last 3 months of 2025, it was down to 1.7%.
He says the U.S. richer than ever before.
The stock market has set 53 all-time record highs since the election. Think of that. 1 year. Boosting pensions, 401ks, and retirement accounts for the millions and millions of Americans. They're all gaining. Everybody's up, way up.
There were some, moments during the speech last night, a fair amount of them. The president calling out the Supreme Court justices who were there, who had ruled just last week against his tariffs.
And then just 4 days ago, an unfortunate ruling from the United States Supreme Court. It just came down. It came down. Very unfortunate ruling.
He said those tariffs have been a great success.
These tariffs took in hundreds of billions of dollars to make great deals for our country, both economically and on a national security basis.
Then the president talking about what he's announcing, a new war on fraud.
It's the kind of corruption that shreds the fabric of a nation, and we are working on it like you wouldn't believe. So tonight, although started 4 months ago, I am officially announcing the war on fraud to be led by our great Vice President J.D. Vance.
And the president blasting what he calls the border invasion that happened under President Biden during the State of the Union.
We can never forget that many in this room not only allowed the border invasion to happen before I got involved.
And then there was this moment, a couple of these, one of them with a Minnesota Democrat Congresswoman Ilhan Omar. She got into a shouting match with the president during the State of the Union when he started to talk about ICE and sealing the border.
That is why I'm also asking you to end deadly sanctuary cities that protect the criminals and enact serious penalties for public officials who block the removal of criminal aliens.
She was yelling the names of the two that were shot in Minneapolis. And then the president introducing the men's U.S. Olympic hockey team. You knew that was going to be a moment when they were invited to the State of the Union.
Here with us tonight is a group of winners who just made the entire nation proud. The men's gold medal Olympic hockey team. Come on in. They beat a fantastic Canadian team in overtime, as everybody saw, as did the American women who will soon be coming to the White House.
Yeah. All right, so the president sounded defiant, took pride in his first year back in the White House while sparring with Democrats, goading them to respond. Respond they did. There was a mix of silence, sitting on your hands, as this always happens during the State of the Union. Some angry shouts, some mocking laughter. There was a moment last night where Democratic Congressman Al Green, who's done this before, it's not the first time, he's from Texas, ejected from the State of the Union. He was holding up a sign that said black people are not apes, a reference to that AI video that was shared by the president online mocking Democrats. It showed former President Obama and the First Lady as apes. And then last year, you'll remember, Green was ejected after he stood and shouted at the president while waving his cane while the president was giving his address to the joint session of Congress. And then you had the Democratic response. It came from the newly minted Virginia Governor Abigail Spanberger. She said that the president told a lot of lies last night.
In his speech tonight, the president did what he always does. He lied, he scapegoated, and he distracted.
She insisted the president is not making America safer, either at home or abroad.
Tonight, as we watched our nation's lawmakers gather for a joint session of Congress, we did not hear the truth from our president.
And she talked about corruption at the White House.
There's the cover-up of the Epstein files, the crypto scams, cozying up to foreign princes for airplanes and billionaires for ballrooms, putting his name and face on buildings all over our nation's capital.
All right, so 1 hour, 47 minutes long. It was a long one. If you didn't stay up, I do not. WABC News Time 5:09. Let's bring it back home. Of course, it is the dig out that continues from the blizzard of 2026. Mayor Mamdani holding a press conference yesterday afternoon, thanking the sanitation department for the work they've done so far.
To distribute over 143 million pounds of salt and to plow every single street across all 5 boroughs at least once.
Now, the biggest complaints are coming from Staten Island, which was the hardest hit in New York City. They got almost 2 feet of snow in some places. So yesterday, the mayor said more snow plows were deployed there, sanitation workers to make the roads passable.
They cleared 7,398 crosswalks, 1,777 fire hydrants, and 3,366 bus stops. 500 personnel, a 210-person increase, added even more pieces of hired equipment, and will be working throughout the day and the evening to clear snow and make roads passable.
Yeah, the roads, at least my commute in it, they've been pretty good. The mayor says NYPD tow truck task force is busy. That's never good.
They towed 37 vehicles to safety during the storm, including 7 MTA buses and 21 ambulances.
Okay, and those emergency shovelers, apparently a lot of people showed up. $30 an hour they were paying to shovel out corners and fire hydrants and bus stops. And so they got a lot of people who showed up to do that yesterday. And the mayor pushing back against the pushback against him for opening up schools yesterday instead of instituting remote learning. So it was just one day after the historic blizzard that he opened schools. Staten Island, again, a lot of people complaining there because they got so much snow. They said it was going to be too hard to get to school. But here was the mayor yesterday.
With students coming back from midwinter break, it was not possible to ensure that enough students had the devices they needed to effectively participate in remote learning.
All right, so that was the issue, is they had been on holiday break, and so they did not have laptops, that kind of things, to work remotely. So he also says that learning in person is critical to the health and wellness of the 900,000 students in New York City.
Whether it's a warm meal, essential mental health support, or a source of childcare for working parents, in-person schooling is a resource that our city's children and families depend on.
Yeah, so the mayor, though facing criticism from a lot of students, teachers unions, and parents who launched that petition, it really didn't matter because 200,000 1,000 people signed it, but he did open school anyway. So yesterday, what we're being told is about 63% of students showed up yesterday. The lowest numbers were on Staten Island, where they're cleaning up from the biggest mess. Over in New Jersey, they continue to recover from the blizzard that dumped 2 feet in a lot of the state. Here's the governor, Mikey Sherrill.
We've just been through a historic storm. We're not out of the woods yet. We're still in a state of emergency, likely through tomorrow, to help in cleanup and recovery efforts.
Now, at the height of the storm on Sunday, something like 70,000 across New Jersey had no power. It's down this morning to about 8,000.
And we know how difficult it is, especially when it's cold, to not have power. So we are coordinating with the utilities and ensuring that they are working as quickly as possible to get those customers restored.
Now, Joe Nolan was noting this yesterday, that the roads in New Jersey were down to blacktop yesterday. That was my experience.
Nothing about this recovery is routine yet. Please continue to avoid unnecessary travel if you still can. Watch for down power lines and report hazards immediately.
That's the acting state police superintendent, at least in my neighborhood. It doesn't seem like a lot of people have pulled out of those parking spots. They're packed in by snow from the snowstorm itself and from the snow plows. So it may be a couple days until everybody's able to dig out. And at the airports, it is now just a game of playing catch up, because nothing left on Sunday, nothing really left on Monday. So yesterday there were flights leaving, but now they have to make up for all the people who weren't able to get on a flight Sunday and Monday.
That is real testament to the snow fighting that occurred.
So I should point out, this is the Port Authority's Catherine Garcia talking about the fact that runways were open and people are getting out.
That is real testament to the snow fighting that occurred here with all the Port Authority employees and the partnership with the airlines and with all of the mass transit that has to get folks to the airport.
JFK in Newark, they resumed operations in a big way yesterday as well.
In terms of the level of absolute perfection you have to achieve, our objective, as the folks in maintenance will tell you, is no worse than wet on any of our services, and we are required to make sure all the lights are clear on the edges.
Yes, so she said the good job done by the workers at the big 3 area airports. However, it's going to be days before everything fully returns to normal. It was around 50% of yesterday's flights were canceled to deal with the backlog of people who were not able to get to where they were going on Sunday and Monday. 5:14, Americans in Mexico describing more of the destruction that cartel members started to unleash on Sunday. Correspondent George Solis has more.
American Yoni Pizer and his partner experiencing the terror firsthand, saying they were forced out of their rental vehicle at gunpoint.
All of a sudden, a young man ran at us with a gun, and my friend in the backseat said, he's got a gun, he's got a gun.
Their SUV later set on fire.
Yes, some Americans say they felt like they were in a war zone as cartel members fired fire weapons after Mexican authorities killed a top cartel boss. A lot of this in Puerto Vallarta, which is a big tourist destination. Tourists felt like they were trapped. They're worried they were going to get out.
On both sides of the helicopter, there were men with very large guns. So we just hoped that they were the good guys and not the bad guys.
Yeah, in that case, they were the good guys.
We actually Sunday morning noticed black smoke all over town, and we didn't realize what it was, but it was actually the cartel catching the buses and the church and the pharmacy they were going through on motorcycles, catching everything on fire. It looks like things are opening up a little bit. A few shops and stores possibly are going to open. Most of the people here, we've not had food or water. We just survived on what we had in our room.
Yeah, it's been very intense. So at least 25 members of Mexican law enforcement have been killed in recent days. Puerto Vallarta, Guadalajara are the hardest hit areas, but there are signs that the situation is getting better. We saw flights taking off yesterday and flights coming into the area. The Mexican president urging calm, saying the government is in control of what's going on. 5:15, let's head over to the 77 WABC Sports Desk. Good morning, Justin Ellick.
Good morning to you, Noam Layden. Start here on the hardwood out in Cleveland. The Knicks lost 109-94 to the Cavaliers. Jalen Brunson had 20. Mikal Bridges scored 18 for the Knicks. Mitchell Robinson pulled down 15 rebounds, one off a season high. New York shot 35 of 86 as Bridges and Brunson were combined 12 of 36. The Knicks shot 27% from three-point range. That's 10 of 37. Cavs and Knicks are both 37 and 22, tied for third place in the Eastern Conference. But New York would have the head-to-head tiebreaker edge if the teams are tied at the end of the season after taking 2 of 3 meetings this year. Up next for the Knicks, they'll be in Milwaukee come Friday. In Brooklyn, the Nets fell 123-114 to the Dallas Mavericks. Michael Porter Jr. scored 26. Noah Clowney had 22 for the Nets, who lost for the 5th straight game. Terrence Mann had 17 points off the bench. Nick Claxton finished with 16 and 9 rebounds. Up next for Brooklyn, they'll host San Antonio tomorrow. Head to some hockey news. Big day for Team USA at the White House yesterday and at the nation's capital, I should say, for the State of the Union. Connor Hellebuck, the goaltender for the gold medal-winning U.S. men's Olympic hockey team, will be awarded the Presidential Medal of Freedom. President Donald Trump announced during last night's State of the Union. It is believed that Hellebuck, who plays for the NHL's Winnipeg Jets, will be the first hockey player to receive the award. Players from the U.S. men's team wearing blue USA
He's
sweater.
Got to be the first.
Yeah,
right?
He's 100. I mean, there's only been a dozen athletes, I think, that have gotten.
Like, what other goalie would deserve that?
Really good question. Yeah. I'm not sure. Who?
Maybe the 1980 team? I don't know.
Maybe.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure they were much in the business back then. Hockey's a much bigger game now. That was really the starting point for American hockey at 1980. But, I don't know why. But I guess it's just because hockey's not that popular of a sport in the United States. I mean, it's been given to basketball players. I think Simone Biles has one, so a gymnast has one.
Right.
But, first hockey player in Hellebuck there. But, Team USA looked good out there filling the aisle. I guess they didn't have seats for every single one of them, so they had to fill the aisles of the chamber. Got a big ovation, of course. Big USA chant ensued thereafter. And the NHL does return tonight. Yep, the Devils, they'll be back in action. You get to see hero Jack Hughes back in a red Devils sweater. And they'll welcome in the Buffalo Sabres. That is a 7 p.m. puck drop. That's your Sports Noah, man. I'm Justin Hollick on 77 WABC.
Thank you very much, Justin. Traffic, transit. Joe Nolan, you must be very excited. You'll see Jack Hughes up close tonight at the Rock, no?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm very excited about it. I even got tickets in the upper deck, I mean, that's just to show you how excited I am about it, because I never sit up there. I always sit downstairs.
The place is going to be, just rocking like nobody's business,
Oh, yeah.
I bet.
It's going to be nuts. It's going to be absolutely nuts. And they're giving, allegedly, I don't know, I haven't seen this anywhere, but online they said they're actually going to give away little commemorative Jack in the boxes.
Oh, really? That's pretty great. I hope they do that.
Yeah, I hope they do, too. So,
WABC News Time 5:20. President Trump continues to weigh whether to strike Iran. Correspondent Keir Simons has more.
There will be negotiations on Thursday, led by President Trump's envoy, Steve Witkoff, and his son-in-law, Jared Kushner, in Geneva. Then the question is, will President Trump decide that there are not enough compromises on the Iranian side?
Now, the president pushing back against reports that he was warned by a top U.S. general that strikes against Iran pose substantial risks. Axios first reporting that Joint Chiefs Chairman General Dan Kane told the president the U.S. could end up in a prolonged Middle East conflict if we strike Iran.
If he does, there could be all sorts of complications. It will not be likely as simple as the operation in Venezuela last year, and that is what has many countries here in this region very worried.
Yeah, so we'll have to see what happens with those next meetings in Geneva. 5:21 out to Arizona. Nancy Guthrie's family now offering $1 million reward as the search continues for her in southern Arizona. Savannah Guthrie posted a new video. Social media yesterday said someone out there knows something how to find her mother, and maybe this $1 million reward will get them to step forward.
We still believe that she can come home. Hope against hope. As my sister says, we are blowing on the embers of hope.
It comes after multiple reports on Monday that a person who's believed to have abducted Guthrie appeared to visit her house a day prior to that disappearance.
We know that millions of you have been praying. So many people have been praying of every faith and no faith at all, praying for her return, and we feel those prayers. Please keep praying without ceasing.
And then Guthrie announced the increase of the reward for information that leads to her mother's return.
We need her to come home. For that reason, we are offering a family reward of up to $1 million for any information that leads us to her recovery.
Yeah. Now, why did they wait to offer that reward? Now, I'm not making an accusation. I'm just asking the question. Why not offer that like day 2 of this search? But the 84-year-old taken from her home February 1st, authorities have been going through thousands of tips, have some DNA evidence that's still undergoing testing, but so far no sign of Savannah Guthrie's mother. 523, California Governor Gavin Newsom continues to face backlash for that interaction he had with the mayor of Atlanta on Sunday. The governor appeared at a book tour event. He has a new book out in Atlanta with the mayor there, Andre Dickens, who is black. And it was this interaction that's gotten a lot of attention.
I'm not trying to impress you. I'm just trying to impress upon you. I'm like you. I'm no better than you. You know, I'm a 960 SAT guy.
Now, critics say Newsom was talking down to African-American voters who were in the audience. The first clip of Newsom's interactions with the mayor has been viewed 55 million times. That was yesterday, so I imagine the number is higher, where Newsom pokes fun at his low SAT score.
And I'm not trying to offend anyone, trying to act all there if you got 940. I cannot, you've never seen me read a speech because I cannot read a speech. Maybe the wrong business to be.
Now, the governor says this is all nonsense. He says it's right-wing media. He says he was discussing his dyslexia and his struggle to read. It had nothing to do with African Americans in the audience. 524, embattled Texas Congressman Tony Gonzalez under more pressure today from his own party, Republicans, to resign over allegations that he had an affair with a staffer who then committed suicide. He told Capitol Hill reporters yesterday that he's not backing down.
I am not going to resign. I work every day for the people of Texas.
He hinted there is more to the story, but he didn't give a whole lot of detail.
There will be an opportunity for all the details and facts to come out.
Yeah, why don't you just give it to us now?
What you've seen is not all the facts.
Okay, Congressman Gonzalez so far does have the backing of House Speaker Mike Johnson, who said this week he wants the investigations to play out first before any calls for a resignation. WABC News Time 525. There is growing anger in California over the parole of a serial child molester from a Sacramento prison.
What in the hell is going on in California? 100%. What is happening in our state?
That's the Sacramento Sheriff, Jim Cooper, who's not happy over the pending release of David Allen Funston, who was convicted of 16 counts of kidnapping and child molestation back in the 1990s. He's 64 now and has become eligible for parole under California law that allows early parole for elderly people who have served more than 20 years in prison. So he could potentially get out.
Load him with candy, Barbie dolls, toys, and abuse these kids horrifically. The youngest victim, 3 years of age.
These monsters cannot be rehabilitated, and he does under 30 years, and now he's going to be on the streets in a neighborhood near you. That's horrific.
It really is. The decision to release Funston was recently reaffirmed by the parole board. There's no word yet when he's getting out of prison or where he would go once he was out. Texas Democrats furious that some schools for people of the Muslim faith being locked out of this new private school voucher program they announced in the Lone Star State. Here's State Comptroller Kelly Hancock.
We ran across schools that were supporting foreign adversaries and terrorist organizations.
He says that when it comes to blocking Muslim schools, they have the backing of the state attorney general.
We made certain that your tax dollars don't go to a single entity that supports terrorism
Vouchers allow parents to pull their kids from public schools, use the tax dollars to send them to private schools. 3 of the skiers that were caught in last week's deadly avalanche near Lake Tahoe were able to save some of their companions. New information coming out.
That's according to a new report from the Sierra Avalanche Center. It says 3 people were unburied and were able to dig out 3 of their companions who survived. The information initially came from the Nevada County Sheriff's Office, which interviewed the survivors as part of an ongoing criminal investigation. 9 people died and 6 people survived. Statements from the families of 6 mothers who died indicate the skiers were well equipped with avalanche safety gear. I'm Daniel Martindale.
It's the 77 WABC News Hour.
Talking the news with Noah Layden.
All the news you need to know with Joe Nolan, traffic, Justin Ellick, sports. And now,
Talking the news with Noah
on 77 WABC.
Yes, that's me. Good morning. It is Wednesday, February 25th. Your forecast from the 77 WABC Weather Center. Light snow this morning won't amount to much, maybe an inch or so. Sunshine this afternoon, high 43, and then tonight and overnight partly cloudy, low 35. Thursday, sunshine, high 45. If you're walking out the door with us right now, so happy you are. 27 cloudy and central Islip out on Long Island. It's 21 and cloudy in Cranford over in New Jersey. It's 23 and cloudy right outside our Midtown studios. WABC News Time 540 is all about the dig out from the blizzard. No matter where you go, you hear the sound of snow blowers, shovels scraping sidewalks, if you can get down to the sidewalk because there's so much snow.
Yeah, my driveway, we had to do that. And I let some kids take care of some of it. It was too much this time.
Oh, yeah, I got plowed in, but I drove right out. That's what the SUV's for.
You know, you get lulled if you're here in Manhattan to believing there's not a lot of snow on the ground. That was the case for me. I stayed in the city. We were doing snow coverage, so I did not go back home into Jersey City until yesterday, and I was like, oh my God, there's a lot of snow here. But where do they put all the snow? That they clear off the sidewalks and the streets here in Manhattan? I mean, you have to really sort of look for it unless it's in the corners, but everywhere else it's like bone dry. But that's not the case once you leave Manhattan. The boroughs hit hard, especially Staten Island, parts there, 27 inches of snow. It'll be a while till everybody recovers.
Brooklyn, very bad. Over there, it's like the buses running every hour because the streets are very dirty with snow. They could do a better job.
Well, down here is good, and the Bronx is still kind of rough. Certain streets are just messy. They're plowed, but it's still slush.
I came from Queens. Manhattan is a lot cleaner than Queens right now.
Yeah, it's still Manhattan always seems to get cleaned out first. There is a trail of broken trees across the city. That's part of what's going to be heavy-duty stuff to clean up. These huge old trees coming down. One case up Park Slope, this large tree came down on Berkeley Place, right between 6th and 7th Avenues. This tree so big, it crushed a Toyota Prius in half. I mean, you have to see this vehicle. It's smashed right through the middle. Thank God nobody was hurt. So that's the good news.
All of a sudden, I heard a crack and a big plume of snow, like as if there was an avalanche.
I was actually sitting upstairs and looking out the window and saw it coming.
Yeah, and so when it crashed, part of it poked a window. So the tree was on one side of the street. It fell over. It poked a window on the other side of the street of a brownstone, then crushed this Prius. The people who owned the Prius came running out, and they said, well, thank God nobody was hurt.
It was one of those, like, just wow, whoa, and, like, shock.
I'm flabbergasted.
Yeah, now they're calling their insurance agent. Mayor Mamdani receiving 1,800 reports of fallen trees and down limbs citywide, and he says this interagency, I didn't know there was one called the Interagency Down Trees Task Force. That's a new one for me. They're out there responding to all the damage done by these trees and getting those trees off the streets. In New Jersey, some places digging out from 2 feet of snow. The governor there, Mikey Sherrill, says sanitation crews, the snow plows, they did an amazing job of getting snow out of the way on major roadways like the Parkway and the Turnpike. This was yesterday. I mean, it was pretty clear. Side streets are still a mess in a lot of places, but if you get to a highway, anyway, chances are it's clear sailing.
We've just been through a historic storm. We're not out of the woods yet, but this has been an incredible effort by everyone across New Jersey, workers, neighbors, communities, all coming together.
Now, checking in with some of these small towns in Rutherford, which is right outside New York City, near the Giants Stadium, or MetLife Stadium, I guess they call it. Now in Rutherford, a neighbor with a snowblower says it wasn't working so great. And we heard this from other people with snowblowers, is that there was so much snow that it was clogging the snowblowers, caulking them out.
Crazy. I was at it for 8 hours yesterday. It's so high, and there's nowhere to put it. And the first pass is great because it's powder. But once you go back to do a second, it's packed.
Yeah, so lots of people in Rutherford say they will wait to uncover their cars. That's the same in some of the more densely parts of North Jersey, like Union City, Jersey City, Hoboken. Their cars under feet of snow, and then snow plows put them under more snow. So they say, okay, I'm going to wait to dig it out.
Thank God I didn't have to be anywhere other than a dentist appointment today that I canceled and rescheduled. People here are pretty nice. I mean, last time we had snow, someone helped me. A woman across the street helped me. Guys up the block helped. We all worked together.
Yeah, people seem to work together at these times. In a moment, we will check in with Mayor Mamdani, who was talking about that snowball attack on NYPD cops in the Village and how he weighed on it. You might be surprised. But first, 5:45, let's head over to the 77 WABC Sports Desk. And here's Justin Ellick.
Thank you, Noam Layden. Started out here in Cleveland. Knicks lost 109-94 to the Cavaliers. Jalen Brunson had 20. Mikal Bridges had 18 for the Knicks. Mitchell Robinson, pulled down 15 rebounds, one off a season high. New York shot 35 of 86. Bridges and Brunson were a combined 12 of 36. The Cavaliers and Knicks are both 37-22 and tied for third place in the Eastern Conference, but New York would have the head-to-head tiebreaker edge if the teams are tied at the end of the season after taking 2 of 3 meetings. Up next for the Knicks, they'll be in Milwaukee come Friday. In Brooklyn, the Nets fell 123-114 to the Dallas Mavericks. Michael Porter Jr. scored 26. Noah Clowney had 22 for the Nets, who lost their 5th straight. Terrence Mann had 17 off the bench. Nick Claxton finished with 16 points and 9 rebounds. Up next for the Nets, they'll host San Antonio tomorrow. Head back to our Team USA men's gold medal winning hockey team. I know it's a long spiel, but they're very decorated now, these young men. I'm watching them now on Fox News. The Hughes brothers getting all hyped up at the State of the Union address last night in the nation's capital, and they got a big surprise. Connor Hellebuck did, the goaltender for the gold medal winning U.S. men's team. He'll be awarded the Presidential Medal of Freedom President Donald Trump announced during last night's State of the Union, and it is believed that he is the first hockey player to receive the award. Of course, all the guys were there last night dressed up in their matching blue USA sweaters, nice khakis, their gold medals. They had a trip to the Oval Office before the address. I think it was Matthew Tkachuk draped his gold medal over the president and said, "I'll trade you that for one of those pens." I don't think I would take that deal, Matty Tkachuk. Maybe keep your hands on the gold medal there, big guy.
The gold medal's worth more, yeah.
I would think so. And hockey does return tonight, so you'll get to see that golden goal hero, Jack Hughes, back in his NHL sweater. That red New Jersey Devils out at the Rock tonight. I believe Joe Nolan will be in attendance, so he'll give us an update tomorrow on how Jack Hughes looks after that Olympic gold. And that is your Sports Gnome. I'm Justin Alex, 77 WABC.
And speaking of that, Joel Nolan, 547, traffic transit on the 7s. A very psyched Joel Nolan, ready to be at the Rock to root on Jack tonight.
Yeah, it's going to be good. I imagine the whole place, too, when the time for the anthem, the whole place will sing the anthem as loud as you can. You know, it's going to be good. It's going to be a great night. I'm really looking forward to it. So,
the hockey crowd is a patriotic crowd.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you know,
more so than other sports, right?
Especially if they're in the bars beforehand and then they come in, you know, I mean, across the street will be rocking. I guarantee you that. All that row of bars that they have there.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It'll be nuts tonight. So, anyway, from the Apple Bank traffic desk, again, as you begin to travel, I might be there as well. As you start to get out.
I bet you'll be lifting a pine or two. Yeah.
Yeah. In the beer hall there, you may see me, eh?
WABC News Time 5:49. Good things are gradually getting back to normal at the airports. following the blizzard.
The storm caused scores of flight delays and cancellations at JFK, LaGuardia, and Newark airports. The Port Authority's Catherine Garcia says runways are very different from highways.
In terms of the level of absolute perfection you have to achieve, our objective, as the folks in maintenance will tell you, is no worse than wet on any of our surfaces, and we are required to make sure all the lights are clear on the edges.
Crews have been hard at work clearing snow and ice with the help of high-speed plows and broom trucks. JFK, Newark, and LaGuardia are all resuming operations, but expect residual delays. I'm Lisa Ritchie, 77 WABC News.
With all this heavy snow, there's worries, of course, of roof collapses. That was the case in New Jersey and Secaucus last night. A restaurant there had to be evacuated after the ceiling buckled due to the snow on the roof. It was at a Houlihan's on Plaza Drive. Police officers say that they raced to the scene when some people who were eating at the restaurant heard cracking noises coming from the ceiling. Thankfully, some alert workers, they evacuated the restaurant and nobody was hurt. Now, the most interesting part of that story might be there's still Houlihan's. Who knew that there were still Houlihan's out there? But apparently there's one in Secaucus. A New Jersey fire department is trying a new approach to clear snow away from fire hydrants.
Well, we did have a legit snow day in New York City for the first time since COVID. Now, firefighters in Montvale hope that kids who may be getting tired of making snowmen or sledding down hills will instead get to work. The Montvale Volunteer Fire Department offering up the chance to win a $50 gift card if kids shovel a 3-foot diameter around as many fire hydrants as possible. They're supposed to take photos and post the locations. The competition lasts through March 1st. James Flippin for 77 WABC News.
That's one way to get help. The blizzard of 2026 dropped the most snow in the tri-state on Long Island. Central Islip got a record-breaking 31 inches. And if you drive around Central Islip today, I mean, they've done a good job for the most part with the roads, but people say snow's like blocking front doors, back doors. There's just snow everywhere.
Did about 5 inches Sunday night, and then just to stay ahead of it. And then the other day I did about, what was it? Probably about 1.5 feet, and then just been breaking it up to, pace myself.
That's one guy trying to shovel out his driveway. The town of Islip Deputy Supervisor Thomas Owens says crews are still working around the clock to get rid of all the snow.
We did have 30 inches of snow, so it was significant, and the visibility was tough. You know, what people don't realize is we're really still fighting the storm.
Yeah, and a school custodian, he was out clearing access points to the local elementary school, Ruth Kinney School, so they kids could get back class today. They were off Monday and Tuesday, and he was there for 8 hours. 8 hours.
Been here since 7 a.m. and then yesterday. Then people were working overnight. It's I've lost count at this point.
Yeah, but the good thing is they got the job done, so school will be open there. And a man was found dead and buried in the snow at a 55 and older complex in Deer Park on Long Island. Police say the body discovered about 4 p.m. on Park Center Drive. A worker contracted to shovel the complex saw the body in the snow. This neighbor heard the commotion.
And I heard the shoveling. So what I did was I came to the door and they're telling me there's a dead man in the snow. There's dead. I go, what?
Now, we reached out to Long Island authorities to get a name, or they didn't give us one. Police have not identified the person, or at least not releasing the information. Would only confirm that the victim is a male. Neighbors say they believe they know who he is and that he lives in the complex near where he was found dead. WABC News Time 5:54. Let's bring it back here into the city. The NYPD has released images of 4 people they're looking to question after several NYPD cops were hit with snowballs and injured on Monday in Washington Square Park. They released photos of 2 people yesterday afternoon, then released images of another pair of individuals hours later. Now, Mayor Mamdani on Tuesday says he does not believe anyone should be charged in this incident.
I can just tell you from the video I saw, it looked like kids at a snowball fight. Look, I've seen the videos of this snowball fight. I think that it was a snowball fight.
Now, it was officers... What's that?
He's such a piece of garbage. And I can tell you, just trust me on this.
I'm going to trust you on this. Go ahead.
That the commissioner and the whole police force is very unhappy with that response. I did not talk to Tish. I'm not going to lie. but I can tell you I know a lot of people very unhappy with that response.
Well, 2 officers ended up in the emergency room after being hit in the face and head. Nobody's been arrested. Then you have the PBA, of course, blasting the mayor's response. The PBA president,
Hendry.
Patrick Hendry.
Yeah.
The mayor needs to come out and condemn this. He needs to say that this is wrong. Right now, he's sending a horrible message to every New York City police officer that it's okay to attack a police officer.
Yeah, and then Rahul Nag, he spoke to Eyewitness News. He says he was at this snowball fight. So the snowball fight was an organized snowball fight, which you might find entertaining if you haven't heard of these. But sometimes after snowstorms, this has been going on for a number of years on social media. Someone will organize a snowball fight. There was one in Central Park on Monday. This one in Washington Square Park was also organized on social media, and people show up and they throw snowballs at each other. So Rahul Nag was there, and he says it started off as harmless fun, but he said he watched as it escalated, as people jumped onto the roof of a building, small building in the Washington Square Park, and then started throwing snow from the roof. This is the park's restrooms. And then when the officers arrived, he said people started throwing snow on the officers. And he said initially it looked like it was a good fun, but then he said it turned into something totally different.
It wasn't supposed to be violent. It started out as a very fun thing to do, and then it just escalated. Some people were confused. They thought they weren't NYPD, they were ICE, or they were working with ICE.
Yeah, okay, so far they've identified, I think it's 4 people in all that they'd like to file charges against. The question is, will they file charges against those 4? And this week's blizzard was the second major snow event to hit the region, of course, since January. We have not even hit a record of the most snow that New York City has seen in a winter season. In fact, we'd have to get like another 20 inches or so between now and the end of winter to even beat the blizzard of 96. That's when we got 75 inches of snow during that winter season.
Thanks for listening to the News Hour with Noam Laden. You can hear the News Hour with Noam Laden weekday mornings at 5 on 77 WABC. If you like the podcast, share it with your friends and listen anytime at WABCRadio.com and download the WABC Radio app. Hit that subscribe button on all major podcast platforms. Plus, follow WABC on social on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and X. See you next time for a new episode, so you never have to wonder,
what the heck is going on here?
Rural Americans deserve access to the best of what our nation has to offer, especially healthcare. Across every state and every community, America's rural hospitals are the first line of defense, protecting our families, neighbors, and loved ones. No matter where you live, hospital care doesn't clock out. They're there 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. Each year, America's over 5,000 hospitals care for millions of patients, providing 24/7 emergency care, delivering babies, cancer treatments, and other life-saving care that patients rely on. Behind every one of those patients are doctors, nurses, and caregivers working tirelessly to keep people healthy and safe. Hospitals are our community's lifelines. They employ our neighbors and keep our families healthy. But now, some in Congress are threatening access to care. Tell Congress, protect patient care to keep America strong. Don't cut rural health care.